naturally I resorted to Google, and here's what came up. A leader is a person who leads or commands a group. A leader is the principal player in a music group, and a leader is a lead article in a newspaper. So naturally I decided to ignore Google and go for my own definitions, because it's not helping. To me, a leader is someone who sees an opportunity and seizes it. Like Elon Musk, right? He saw the need and the demand for eco-friendly engines, and he made a company to go achieve just that. A leader to me is someone who knows their people and gives them exactly what they want. Like Donald Trump, who knew the nation craved to be great again and gave them exactly that. A leader to me takes the initiative. Just like how some of us last year decided that we could be giving more back. So we created Safe House to bring mental support to those who sought it, who sought stability. Now, a successful leader is a visionary, which Google defines as a person with original ideas about what the future could or would look like. It also defines them as someone who can, see visions in a trance-like state. We're just going to ignore that one for the sake of judgment. I want to focus on ideas about what the future could be like. Now, we all have ideas, we all have those dreams. But how many of you can say that you actively get up every morning and wholeheartedly and sincerely go for making your dreams a reality? Honestly. Anyone? So, I think I know the reason why. I think we don't realize that we're all leaders. We don't realize that we all have it inside us. And even if we do, we don't know how to harness it. So I'm going to tell you for free how to harness your inner leader. What if I could tell you that you can raise your hand and make a fist willingly? Honestly, it's mind-blowing. Try it. Please. I know you can. Yeah? Right. See? That's you taking your first step. Now, what if you could raise your hand and ask me why I'm up here talking you into leadership? Would you do that? Could you do that?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're all leaders and you decide what you want to do. The real reason that most of us don't realize we're leaders is that we don't know how to harness it. So I say, don't raise your hand and ask these questions. I say raise yourself. You raise yourself and come up here where I'm standing and talk about leadership, talk about the messages that you want to talk about, the way you want to talk about them. Do you want to be a leader? Because you already are. You just need to take the step, lead yourself into this position, into a position like ours, where you can bring about the changes that you want. And God knows that you guys want some pretty big changes. So, what I want from you guys is to think about simply letting out your inner leader.
So, being a leader means you get to influence change. So, as you will all apply and as we will all come to talk about, it's going to be about right, early morning. It's going to be about coming in and applying to become part of student leadership. So influencing change is something which personally I felt being at the school for so long, and I would get angry at the school at times because I felt like I didn't have a voice. So this is your chance. This school is going through the biggest change at the moment that it's gone in its history. We have a new building coming in, and we have so many more students and teachers that's going to come in. So we're going to lose a lot of the community. Hopefully we won't lose much, but that's where you come in. You finally have the chance to be influential at the school. It's important that you understand the roles and the powers. So anyone who does politics knows that there are formal and informal powers. But if you are a student leadership, you are the representation of the whole school. The teachers will go straight to you, and you have a direct contact to Miss Higgs or whoever the new head teacher is. So that is something else, because we are going to have a new head teacher. We didn't have close contact, so great. But again, this is where you can step up. You can finally be influential and go with the head teacher and meet with him and have this contact which we didn't have, because you can influence change. This is what leadership is all about. You making the changes you want. A lot of you complained so much this year about so many different things, flexi and all that, but now this is your chance where you can actually change things for the better. I would say that if you want to apply this year, it doesn't matter if you just want to be a prefect, it doesn't matter if you just want to, get something for your CV. That's not how it should be. You have to go straight for it because you actually want to influence change. That's what it's all about, and that's why you should apply, and you should apply to get the highest position.
Now, some of you may doubt yourself because of any past history you've had at EC, or you may think that you haven't been in EC long enough. But we're here to tell you that that doesn't matter. If you just look at us in the cabinet, some of us joined in primary, but I only joined in year 10. But all of us still have the same vision of amplifying students' voices and representing the student body. Now, no matter how long you've been at EC, you would have seen things you'd want to improve. You would have seen things what you don't like. It's about how you use that information to respond and actually influence change. So take this as an opportunity for all of you. History does not dictate your chances of becoming a leader, whether it's your history in EC or in past schools. What does matter is if you have a genuine passion to actually make change and take this information to represent the whole student body. If you do, if you have this genuine passion and you know that you're not just going to do it for your UCAS or your CV, then go for it and apply. There's nothing stopping you from doing it.
Okay, so as most of you know, I haven't had the best track record in EC in the past, and I just wanted to let all of you know that if you have made mistakes in the past, or you feel as though your behaviour hasn't been the best, if you've in that time redeemed yourself, or you feel as though you've been trying to, your flaws will be overlooked regardless. We know what kind of student you are now and before, and I don't think I would have a few years ago said that I was ready for this position or right for this position, and I feel like since I noticed that, I've taken the time to improve myself as a person, and I feel like taking on this role as well, you grow as a person, and it's such a good experience. It's not just for the label. I've learned so much from Helia, from Lucas, from Luca, and I'm just so grateful that I managed to get this position, and I think it's such a good opportunity for everyone else to do the same.
Okay. So I know many of you have such great leadership qualities. You're responsible, you're hardworking, everything a perfect fit for the position. But sometimes you might lack confidence. You're scared within yourself, oh, if I become head boy, head girl, I'm going to have to do all these speeches and talks, and it's frightening you, yeah? But you shouldn't use this as an excuse to draw back from this position. Instead, you should use it as a motivation to look at yourself in the future and say like, oh, I've developed as a person, I've become confident. Now it's easier for me to go into a job interview and be able to be confident, or when meeting new people once you guys go to uni. So you guys shouldn't use this as a drawback and to scare you. Use it as a tool to improve yourself as a person in the future.
Okay, so this is a point that I'm going to make. We're trying to inspire you here, but I also want to make sure that you realize that when you take on this title, you're taking on responsibility. It is not just a badge, right? You know, and you should know what you're getting yourself into. You should wake up every morning thinking, I'm here to represent the school, and I'm going to do just that, right? Doesn't mean you can't slack off, doesn't mean you can't focus on yourself, but it means that you can't just write about it in your uni application and second those are sent off, right? You're sorted, they know you're a prefect, it's all good. It actually tends to work against you if you do that, because if they can't see your sincere passion and reason for why you applied for prefect, what you did as a prefect, let alone a cabinet member, then they'll see it as a flex and they'll just look straight past you. They'll think this is an empty candidate. Or even if you were to do that in, let's say, an interview for a job, they'll see right through it. So I want you to think why you want to do this, what your motivation would be. Like, do you think, is it a way of giving back? Is it a way of, finding yourself through this title? It should not be anything to do with the perception that it's going to lead you somehow towards success.
And you have to remember that you're a team, whether it's just you in the cabinet and the whole prefect team. So with us, there's 30 prefects and then us 8 in the cabinet. When one of us slacks off, someone else has to pick up that burden. So just remember that you choose to apply, so you choose to undertake these responsibilities and shoulder the responsibilities for yourself and not burden other people along with it.
So just ending off with a little bit of an inspirational note. You should aim to be someone like Francesca, for example, right? Her universities probably don't even know what deputy head girl means. It's Euro. But they'll see that she was someone who wanted to do something and did it. She took the initiative, she organized TED. Might have not worked out, but they saw the process and they saw the journey, and that's what matters. If you don't think you're somewhere where you can start being head girl immediately tomorrow, there's no need for that. You've got a whole campaign process to figure it out. So we'll talk you through that process. I'll send the information over to everyone, but as Lucas mentioned, there's going to be 2 types of applications. You can either go for prefect based on how much responsibility you're willing to uphold, or you can go for a senior leadership position, right? So that's any of the cabinet. It's anyone's game because you will be campaigning for it. So we start today. You can start drafting your letters, but the hard thing is that you're going to have to send it to me by the 2nd week of Easter before we're even back. And we're doing this so it doesn't affect your mocks or your study leave, because I'm aware the first exam is the 7th of May for physics. So you're going to draft your letter and send it to me, and we're going to announce, based on the teachers, who's been shortlisted to start campaigning. And that will be during your mocks. But it doesn't mean that you start during your mocks. It just means that you have until the next Sunday to prepare any posters, any materials, any thoughts or ideas you have for a campaign. And I mean, it'll be stressful, but at least you get the time to prepare. So you'll get 7 days, 7 school days, until the following Monday to actually campaign. Now we'll tell you what that means. We'll give you some tips and tricks. I'll send you more information and the timeline via email. But it's basically anyone's game, and it is survival of the fittest, right? So look forward to that. We've got voting day, the 30th of April. That's the Tuesday. What happens is the whole school will vote electronically, and we'll be able to count up the votes without any mistakes, without any pressure on you. And once we have those votes, we'll know who exactly from the shortlist is in the cabinet. And you'll be told before you head off for your exams. So the issue is you get announced, your position gets announced at awards evening, and that's in June. So you have all of your exam time to be stressing about whether you got head boy or head girl. And the prefects will be announced at the end of your assembly. We're not exactly sure about the date. But you'll be announced in front of the whole school. So,
Right.
let's give you some tips.
Yeah, so this is the most fun part. Campaigning was so much fun last year. From my own experience, is your posters, your messages, your videos, whatever you do, has to have your message and your goals. Personally, I made posters where I put my face and teachers' faces on movie posters and put Mr. Chater's 2 words for Lucas, but it didn't say what I wanted to do. So, and that's something Luca excelled at. He was so good with his posters, where it was funny, it got people talking, but it had exactly what he wanted to do. So it's the reason why people voted.
And it's also important that, I'm sure last year you saw that there were so many posters, you guys were bombarded with posters everywhere, but more than having those posters, I think it's important that you actually go out and speak to every single year or speak to forums so that they know that they can approach you and that you are actually willing to make change for them.
And also, you should know what the target market is. So, for example, for myself, I thought that maybe if I did a video and if I put all that effort in it, people actually won't watch it. You know, they'll just use it as a time wasting, not even care about it. You know. So what I did personally is I went up to people in the playground during lunchtime and break, tutor time, and then went to individually talk to the people, and so they can get to know me, so they can trust me, and therefore believe in what I want to do. So know your target market.
Sorry. I spent most of my time on posters. On my posters last year, I felt like I could get most creative side out through my posters. I would recommend 100% going around to all forms. They don't know who you are necessarily, and so you should introduce yourself to all form groups. Like me and Luca did it at almost every lunch and through form time. and make sure your individuality is like shining through your posters or through your campaign in general. And
I just want to reinstate that this is not a popularity contest by any means. It's fair and square. You do get considered for all types of achievement. But in the end, it does boil down to the school knowing who you are, right? So it's not a matter of getting your face out there. It's also a matter of getting every single year with their own individual taste to like you. And that's the hard part, because you've got some of your 7s to impress with some jokes, but also your 12s, well, your 11s moving into your 12, to make real promises to about, yes, you will be changing sixth form for them. So the issue is catering to everyone. For me, that took a cringy 6-minute video. I'm sure you all remember it, okay? Not the proudest moment of my life. But that's what it took, I think. I begged the teachers, I ran around every morning saying, play this video, please. So do think about things that could make you stand out, okay? I just want to leave you with this. You can see it. Cannot. It says, if not you, then who? I just want you to think about that. Just leave thinking about, if not you, then who? Because I only see you in front of me, and it has to be coming from you. We're not here next year. No one else can take this. So I think we need to have obsolescence, but